Good morning. Welcome back to ExpatCrib. Today I am with Anna, as I said in the introduction. Anna.
Hello.
Hello. So, Anna, we are going to cover three things today, okay? We are going to cover why, and I can attest to this, because as far as accounting goes, I probably made every mistake in the book here. I've had a good Colombian accountant, but at times there was a not good communication, we'll say, but Anna's English is perfect. And she has, yeah, it's really good. And Anna has you have some bilingual staff here, or you're the bilingual one?
I'm the bilingual.
She's the bilingual one, but she makes sure that everything is done right here. And today we're going to talk about accounting for expats, obviously, and for expats who are coming here as retirees, expats who are coming here to buy a property and live here, okay, and they may not be retired yet. They may be working online or whatever. And we are going to talk about expats who come here, who start a business, who earlier on in the conversation, Anna said, just don't do it. Don't start a business. But again, there are people here that want to start a business, and she's going to give you all the rules and regulations as to what to do. Now, some things may be covered we're going to start with the retirees, and some things may be covered in the retirees and the homeowners, or people that own a property here. They may overlap. But Anna, let's start with retirees that come here. Okay, they've got a retirement visa, that's how they're here. What is it they have to worry about?
Okay, yeah. When you're here more than 183 days in Colombia during a 365 period of time, then you have to file taxes as a tax resident. Once you hit the 183 days, you become a tax resident. That means that you need to report your worldwide income and your worldwide assets. If you have your pension abroad, you still need to file in Colombia, but pensions in Colombia are exempt up to $150,000, more or less.
Oh, wow, okay.
So you just file. If you haven't hit that threshold, you file. Income 140, for example, exempt 140, and then you don't pay any tax, but you still need to file.
Right, okay.
Also in Colombia, we file not only your revenue, but you also need to report your assets. Since you're a tax resident, because you're here about the 183 days, then you will have to report your assets worldwide.
Right.
If those assets are more than 3.5 billion Colombian pesos, which is more or less $850,000, then you will have to file another tax declaration, which is the wealth tax.
Okay.
So you gotta check on those two numbers,
right,
to see if you have to file only income tax or both. Okay.
Okay. So if you're over $150,000, you have to get creative or live here only 6 months or less.
Less than 6 months.
1 day less than 6 months.
Correct.
Okay.
Those 6 months are continuous, but you can be here, for example, 1 month, then leave 2 months, and then come back, and you have to check the whole year,
right,
not a calendar year,
right,
but 365 days.
Okay, cool. So Anna actually works with some of our clients, who are some of my friends. We won't mention them by name because they make her work really hard. I know that. But for people who are coming to invest in Colombia, what taxes do they have to worry about here? So for instance, one of my friends that I'm thinking of, he has multiple properties here. So we're still at the retiree level, but what is it he would have to look after?
The only thing different than that is the wealth tax that we already talked about.
Right. And the wealth tax would be what he accumulates here, or?
If you're a non-tax resident, because you're here less than 183 days, so you only count what you have in Colombia. But if you're here as a tax resident, you need to count everything you have. So you have to count your bank accounts worldwide. If you own a property, if you have investments,
right,
everything.
Right.
So maybe that would be one of the things that you might think about before spending a lot of time in Colombia.
Right. Okay. Yeah. More than 6 months. So are there legal creative ways here to reduce those taxes by doing things within the country here?
For wealth tax, the only thing is you can reduce is, well, if you have liabilities, of course, because it's net, your patrimony, your equity, but just net.
Okay.
So if you have any liability, let's put it. And the living house up to $150,000.
Okay.
So if you own a house in Colombia or abroad, and you're filing your wealth tax, you can deduct that house, the living house,
Okay.
up to 150.
Gotcha.
If it works more, you just can go up to 150.
Okay. Okay. Got it. And while we're still on the retirees here, one of the things I wanted to mention or clarify is as far as their health insurance goes. I know this is probably not your expertise, but I was told by Isabel, the lawyer that I work with, we did another video, is that now retirees actually can't get EPS. Is that correct?
You can get the EPS, but it depends on you need to pay EPS based on your income.
Okay.
What you cannot get sometimes is the private insurance. So in Colombia, we have EPS, which is like the basic one.
Right.
And we have the private one.
Right.
To get the private one, you must have EPS. They won't let you get the private one without having the EPS.
Yeah, and that's something that I've known from the beginning because I've always had to have EPS, and then you can put the other insurance on top. But there is a bit of a dispute right now, and again, we can clarify this later, because Isabel said that they canceled for the retirees to be able to get the EPS, whereas in my situation, where I have a business in this country, I can apply for EPS, and that's for sure. But anyways, we can.
We gotta check that because I haven't heard that.
You haven't heard that? Yeah. Okay. Property ownership. A lot of our clients, obviously, because I'm in the business with Camilo, come here and purchase a property. What are the implications for property purchases here? Okay. We could actually get into do you know the percentage of the closing costs of buying a property here? It's usually about
more or less 3%.
3%, yeah.
Correct.
And it's split between.
It is split, so it's 50-50.
Right. So can you tell us the tax implications for property ownership?
Okay. First of all, when you're buying a place in Colombia, there is a way people do this, which is very uncommon for foreigners, and it's you make the business for one price, and then when you sign the deed, you do it for a less price.
Right.
Why? There are two reasons. First one, the closing costs are going to be less, of course, because you're signing for less.
Yes.
That one works for both because, of course, both are going to pay less. The other one is the seller, when he sells for a less price, then when he files his taxes, he's going to show less income, then it's going to show less profit.
Right.
That means less capital gain tax, right?
Yes.
That's not legal.
Yes, we need we need to clarify that. Colombians know how that works here. We never advise to do this. There are some ways. If you buy a fully furnished place, you can actually use the furniture and everything there to
make a part of it.
And make that apart from the purchase of the property.
That's correct. The thing is, I always tell my clients when there are the buyers, try to make it for the highest price you can, like for the real one, right? Why? Because when you sell it, the cost is going to be real. If you buy it for less, then if you want to sell it, then your profit, it's going to be huge or bigger than you expected, because let's say you bought it in 1,000, but you say in the deed that you bought it in 700. And then you sell it in 1.2.
Right.
The reality is that you had 200 profit. But in your taxes, you're going to say you had 500 profit, and you will have to pay taxes on the 500. Right,
Right.
now, income tax is 15%. That's the rate.
Okay.
There's
That-
a tax reform.
Okay. Sorry, I just interrupt a bit. So there's a 2-year limit though, right? So right now, if you flip the property, you bought it, you renovated it, and in the same year you sell it, what property tax are you subject to then?
That it's going to be ordinary income, which is because you didn't wait 2 years having the property.
Right.
So if you sell it before 2 years, it's not going to be capital gain. It's going to be ordinary income.
Oh, okay.
And you will have to add that amount, the selling price, to the other income you had. And then with the other income, let's say you're an employee and you had payroll, and also you got interest from the bank.
Okay.
So you have to add the income from the payroll plus interest plus the selling of the house, and all together would situate you in a percentage of the income tax, which goes from 0 up to 39%. So
Right.
if you sell the house for, let's say, this amount of 1.2, to follow the example we were talking about, then you will end up paying 30%.
Right. Okay.
If you wait 2 years,
Yes.
then you will pay 15%.
Only 15%.
Correct.
That's a capital gain.
Capital gain.
But
Correct.
what I hear you saying, I think, is that if you do flip it in that year, you can take the capital gains, which will be, is there a hard and fast rule, or can it be transferred over to your personal taxes?
It's your personal tax.
Oh, it is your personal
It
tax.
is your personal tax. It's
Okay.
altogether in your personal tax. In Colombia, we file as an individuals, and we take it apart from your business.
Right.
If the apartment is in your name and everything is in your name, it's your personal tax on that. Okay?
But in general, it's anywhere from, if you do it in that 1 year, 30 to 39%. Depends.
It might be, maybe it depends on how much money you make
Right.
with the house, because maybe you bought the house, but then you put a lot of money remodeling, and then the total cost was 1.2, and then you sell it for the same price, 1.2.
Right.
So the profit, it's going to be 0, so you pay 0.
Yeah. Okay.
But if you make any profit, then you will have to pay on that profit maybe a higher amount than the 15% if it were capital gain. But for that, you need
Gotcha.
to wait 2 years to sell the property.
Gotcha. Okay, great. One other question I had, as far as property goes, is I bought my place, I think it was in 2014 in Provenza. And I actually sold it just over the 2 years. So my capital gains ended up being like $100, because at that time, even though I made good money on my place, my accountant at that time, there was a rule, I guess, again, this is like, 10 years ago, that when you did a renovation, you could write off some of that against the renovation. All. Is that rules changed though?
No.
No?
It is still the same.
Okay.
You can add all the renovation costs,
Yeah.
and also every year we can make an adjustment to the property. So that will increase the cost every year.
Oh.
The government every year give us a percentage of what amount we can increase.
Okay.
So we can do that.
You still can?
Yes,
Okay.
it is still on the law. So you can do it every year. So if you had the apartment since 2015 and you sell it 10 years later, it's not gonna cost the same amount. The cost is not gonna be the same that you paid 10 years ago.
Right.
It will be increasing even if you didn't do any remodeling, but just increase the readjustment. That is, it's volunteer,
Okay.
but everyone should do it.
Right.
And
Okay.
every year we do the adjustment, and then when you sell, you won't have to pay that much.
Okay. Good to know. Yeah, because I thought that rule was done away with, but you're telling me that when someone renovates a house, there are a certain amount of deductions they can get through the renovation costs.
Yes, you can. It depends. You need to check when you do the renovation if it's increasing the amount of the value of the apartment, or if it's just an expense.
Right.
So if you just fix the sink, it's not increasing the amount of the apartment, right?
Right.
The value of the
Yeah.
apartment. So that is called as an expense. So you cannot use it to increase the cost.
Gotcha.
But if you put a new floor and then you put like all the apartment you throw down and put it all together again, then it's a renovation and you put out everything. You just need to have the proper invoices for that.
Yes, you have to have your paper trail. That's for sure. And I did. I had a stack of receipts and she had to go through all of them.
Yeah, you gotta have everything so you can prove that it was the right amount you put in your taxes.
And one other thing that may not relate to Anna is obviously you have property taxes here, right? And can you tell me a bit about, like, Poblado is a different animal for sure. It's strata, what we call strata 6 here.
Strata 6.
The highest strata, okay?
Correct.
But most of my clients are dealing anywhere from mostly strata 6, 5 or 6. But for instance, in Retiro, where you live or you have your place, and where I live, there is literally one area that I believe is strata 6, Soto de Este, and then across the street, 10 meters away, it's strata 4. Those are the places you're looking for. You're looking for the strata 4 places.
And then you build a house at strata 6.
Yeah, honestly, like that in Retiro, we call it, I guess you would call it arbitrage. But you've got $1 million houses, close to $200,000 houses with similar views. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
And very safe places too.
Even here in Poblado, we have little neighborhoods in the middle of Poblado, in front of El Tesoro. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I do. I know it.
And it's like it's strata 4.
Strata 4.
And in front of it is El Tesoro Mall, which is strata 6.
Yeah.
And it happens,
Exactly, yeah. But I can tell you that neighborhood right now is changing a lot.
Yeah.
It's going to hit strata 6.
So yeah, in Colombia, and a lot of people doesn't know that because it's not very common, for example, in the U.S., and we have to pay property tax.
Okay.
Every year, they send us a bill. We can pay it annualized.
Right.
You get a 5% discount, depending on the municipality. You
Exactly.
get some discount if you paid it in the first quarter of the year.
Right.
Otherwise, you can pay every quarter.
Yeah.
They send you the bill.
Exactly.
Every 5 years, the municipality goes to the places. They actually go and they check because that price, the price that they have there, is way less than the commercial price.
Right.
So you pay taxes, but not on the real price you paid for the apartment or the house you bought. You pay less. But it helps you because you pay less. But when you sell the house, at minimum, you need to sell it. You need to sign the deed for the price that the catastro says, that a price.
The cadastral value, right? And that's basically where, in Vancouver, that would be the assessment value. In general, here, even in Poblado, still, the taxes are pretty low on apartments.
Yes, they're pretty low. They're very, like the difference between the real price and the cadastral price, it's very different.
Yeah, like even like in Canada, I think where my sister lives, they're selling their home now, but the property taxes every year are like mortgage payments, like $25,000.
Wow,
It's
no,
we don't have that problem here.
In an apartment in Poblado, you might pay, for example, at maximum 10 million pesos for an apartment, like a average apartment, beautiful apartment, maximum 10 million.
How much is that in dollars? Just so people.
$2.5 thousand.
Yeah. That's what I see. Anywhere here, anywhere from $1,500 a year to, I think super high would be 4,000, right? On a $1 million apartment. Yeah. So okay. Anything else related to property purchase or owning property here?
No, just make sure you pay all the property taxes on time every year. And check on the price when you're buying the place.
Exactly.
Not to sign for the lowest one because the seller, we want that, but you as a buyer, you won't want that.
Exactly, yeah.
So check on that. Always, I recommend to talk with a lawyer or an accountant before
absolutely
buying and before selling.
Right.
Because there is another thing. When you sell your apartment, there are some benefits. So if you're selling your apartment and you tell your accountant later, you cannot do anything at that moment. But if you tell your accountant before, then we can give you some advice
Right.
You can save millions of pesos.
Yeah, a lot,
Like
yeah,
thousands of dollars.
thousands of dollars. Exactly, yeah. There was one thing there you touched on. Whenever we work with clients here who have a new listing, like one later this afternoon, we have to check the matricula, which is their deed, to make sure everything is clean. We also have to make sure they've paid all their utility bills and administration, right? And so we always do that. You can actually check online. What's the name of that process when you check online to see if everything is clean? Do you remember?
I don't recall right now, but yeah.
Certificado
de Tradición y Libertad.
Exactly.
Tradition and freedom certificate. It's like the translation, yeah.
Basically.
That one, yeah, and it cost I don't know, $10.
Yeah, 10 for you.
And what you do, no, less than that. I think it's like $7.
Yeah.
So what you do with that is you check, that shows you that apartment, like all the tracking of the apartment since the beginning, since they were constructing it, who were the owners. So you can check that. With a lawyer, what you can do, since we have a bad past in Colombia regarding who owned some apartments.
Exactly.
You can hire a lawyer who can track that the apartment didn't belong to a narco or something like that, because you don't want to end up they take your apartment, like the law and the authorities take your apartment because it was product of some criminal activities, right? Right. So you can hire a lawyer, and that's a very good recommendation is that you hire a lawyer to check that that apartment was on good hands during the whole time the apartment has existed. Exactly,
yeah. And we have people like Isabel who would check the titles on the property. We work with a guy, Juan Jose, also too. Try and stay away from headaches.
Yes,
it's better.
Correct. It's better.
And that's why you need someone like Anna, because she will proactively let you know the path to go when you come here.
Before making a lot of mistakes and losing a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
And having headaches.
Yeah. Especially the tax department here is ruthless. So, okay, so we've covered property. Next, if you're going to start a business here, what's your advice?
So, wait, no.
Well, let me just say one thing, just for to be on the positive side of starting business. I've got a very good business partner here in Camilo. He's helped me. Camilo is very good at keeping our clients, like the one that we share together, out of trouble, right? And knowing all the laws and everything and being proactive. But yeah, you can have a very positive business here if you actually are working with the right people.
Correct.
Like Anna. So tell me all about business. What do we need to do?
Okay, when you set up a business in Colombia, first of all, you need to register your business in Chamber of Commerce. You need to have a legal representative who can be you as a foreigner, or you can have a partner in Colombia that might be maybe your lawyer or someone who you trust to help you with that. Why I'm telling you this? Because sometimes if you don't have a cédula de extranjería, only your passport, it's going to be harder to get. For example, in Chamber of Commerce, if you don't have a cédula, you need to go in person to do everything, to do the setting up. If you're with someone with a cédula, we can do everything online. That's the first step. You set up the company, then you open a bank account, and you need to have someone who's going to take care of the bookkeeping. Okay. In Colombia, we need to file taxes per month. Every month, you need to file withholding tax, which is every time you make a payment, you need to withhold and pay it to DIAN, which is Colombian IRS.
Right. Just to be clear, that's if you have money coming in.
If you're paying to someone, if you're paying, for example, for goods or for services, if you're paying from your company, not you as an individual, but if you own a SAS, which is similar to an LLC. Right. If you own a business, you need to make, every time you make a payment, depending on what you pay, the amount, the concept of that payment, you need to practice withholding tax.
Okay.
And pay it to the end every month.
Every month?
Every month.
Oh, okay.
Every 2 months, you need to pay VAT. So in that case, is when you're selling goods or services, you need to charge VAT.
Right.
All companies must do that.
Okay.
When you set up the company, you immediately become responsible for VAT.
Right. So you need an accountant if you have money coming in.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, because you need someone to file those taxes, those
Yeah.
forms every 2 months for
Right.
the first year.
Okay.
And then every year you need to file income tax and also exogenous information, which is when you report everything that happened during the year. Who did you buy from? Who did you sell to?
Right.
Like name, tax ID number, address,
Right.
phone number, everything. So
Right.
Diane knows everything
Okay.
regarding your company, buy-ins or sellings.
Gotcha.
And that needs to be done every year.
Okay.
Also, you need to renew Chamber of Commerce every year.
Right.
And Industry and Commerce, which is like a tax that we pay to the Bureau. So it's 3 entities every year. Income tax, Diane, Industry and Commerce, and Chamber of Commerce.
Right.
Even if you set up the company and you don't have any activity during the year, you must comply with these 3 every year.
Right.
Okay?
Okay. Yeah, because some of our clients come in, they set up a paper company. So they're not actually taking anything in. They basically invested, I think right now it's approximately $35,000
Correct.
to open a
It's
company.
100 minimum salaries.
Right. And then it goes up every year a certain percentage, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you do that, at least you need to file those taxes every year. These three compliance, which is Chamber of Commerce renewal. These you need to pay based on the assets you have. So if you have only, for example, you set up the company and you buy the house you're living in the company's name.
Right.
And the house worth $1 million.
Okay.
So you need to pay based on that. They have like a range table, and depending on how much you have, they give you the amount you need to pay per year.
Gotcha. Okay.
Industry and Commerce, in this case, since you're not making any activity, like you're not running any business, you don't have to pay that one.
Okay.
And income tax, even though you don't have anything, like any business, you need to report that.
You still have to file.
Income zero, but you need to report assets.
Okay.
So you need to report the house. And if you had any expenses related to the income, since you don't have any income, you don't report nothing in that.
Right.
So it's zero income, zero expenses, zero tax.
Okay.
But you need to file on time. Otherwise, they will fine you because you didn't file on time, and you will have to pay a penalty for that and for late filing.
Gotcha. Yeah. And I'm going to tell one story here where it happened to me early on. Again, I've made all the mistakes, so you guys don't have to make the mistakes. But I had a friend, a pseudo friend, who was a lawyer. I was going to Canada, and I said, I know it's the time to file your taxes. I had 0 taxes to declare, but I still had to do the declaration. Long story short, something happened to me, and I don't know what they did, but I got a letter from Deanne saying, hey, you made, I think, $80,000 at this accountant who I've, to this day, never met. And again, sad story, the friend, quote unquote friend, is not with us anymore. I had to pay a fine to Deanne of $1,800 for something that even my new accountant said you were not responsible for. But again, Deanne is Deanne, and I had to pay that fine.
No.
So ever.
You can argue that.
Yeah, well, again, maybe my accountant didn't argue it well enough, but again, I had to pay a fine. We didn't pursue the accountant because it was just a little bit dodgy. But that's why you need someone like Anna on your side.
Yeah, because what you can do is, since remember that everyone reports everything of the company. So what they do is they cross out the information. So for example, I say I pay you $1,000, and you don't say anything. You say you didn't receive any income. They're gonna cross out the information and they say, hey, you didn't report this income,
Right.
but she reported the expense.
Right.
So that's why you need to be very responsible and know exactly what money you're making, what money, like, and also what they're reporting. So we report the same and we're very current and all the information matches.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So let's go back a sec, because you mentioned that if you come here, you can start a business and you could put your house or property in the business. Some of our clients do that. When is that advantageous as a foreigner coming here? Let's take two scenarios. One is they live here all year. One is they only live here 6 months. What is the advantage of putting a property into a business here?
One is, for example, depending on how much you're putting in the business and as an investor.
Okay.
For example, you set up the company with, I don't know, let's say $5,000. But then you buy a house of $1 million.
Okay.
You only own the shares,
Gotcha.
right?
Right.
The company, where did the company get the money to buy the house? If you didn't invest it, so you maybe you made a loan to the company, and the company with that loan is buying the house.
Okay.
For wealth tax, you don't report. You only report, you as an individual. You only report that you have a shares, 5,000, but also you need to report the loan. So at the end, you report the same, right?
Okay.
The company doesn't pay wealth tax, but if the loan is not made, you didn't make the loan, but the loan was made for another person.
Okay.
Someone who's not tax resident in Colombia.
Okay.
That person maybe, or a company in the U.S. who made the loan to the Colombian company, that we can avoid the wealth tax.
Gotcha. Okay.
The other reason is some people want to protect their assets.
Okay.
So they put it in a company. So if you get, for example, I don't know, let's say you're a physician or a lawyer, and you might get sued very easily.
Right.
So if they sue you, you don't have nothing, or you don't have just less things, and they don't go after the house because the house, it doesn't belong to you.
Gotcha.
It belongs to a company.
Belongs to the company. Okay. Yeah. That's a lot of reasons why people do it in the U.S. And I just wanted to say that Anna works with a lot of U.S. clients, correct?
Correct.
So you know the laws between the United States and here.
Yeah, I know some. I work only for Colombian taxes. I do only Colombian taxes.
Right.
But yeah, I've talked with a lot of clients, and they show me a lot of American laws and everything. So I've been learning.
Okay. Great. Yeah. And you have liaisons there that you could talk to for clarifications, right?
Of course.
Yeah, you expressed that to me before, I think. So, okay. So I just wanted to reiterate how important it is to have an accountant here like Anna. And Anna is one of the very few that I know in the city that's bilingual. And Anna, how many staff do you have working? How many accountants?
11. We're 11 people here.
Okay. So yeah.
We do bookkeeping, and we do tax advising, income taxes.
Okay.
And audits in Colombia. It's mandatory when you own a property company that makes more than certain amount of income or owns certain amount of assets, you must have a fiscal auditor. It's mandatory.
Okay.
So we also do that. It's just to check the accountant work and to check everything.
Right.
It's mandatory for those companies, so we also do that for companies that they have their accountant, so we do the review.
Great. Okay. Do you have a lawyer on staff too, or just
No, we're just accountants with CPAs.
Okay.
And we work together with other lawyers in Medellin.
Okay. Yeah. You said you knew Isabel, right?
Yes, I know her.
Exactly. So, okay, Anna, thank you so much. This has been super helpful and enlightening for me. I'm always learning new things here. Again, usually through mistakes, but Anna's here to keep you from the mistakes. So, thanks again.
Thank you. Ciao.